Welcome back to the table. So I have to use a new device. My other one battery went dead. So camera's a little different, but we'll make it work. Okay, so I know I spent a lot of time picking ministers, but once you pick the ministers, you don't have to do it again until peace turn 3. So the next phase here is the initiative phase. The British always, or sorry, the French always start with it, and then the action phase, and this is really the meat of the game. So I know we spent a lot of time talking about selecting ministers, but the meat of the game is here with this. And let me see if I can place this without damaging too many components. All right, so the French player gets to decide who goes first because they have initiative. So there's two strategies here. The first one is there's only so many event cards. So this has an event symbol, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 opportunities to play an event card. To be quite honest, that's pretty good. Most rounds, or turns, I should use the right terminology, there may only be 2 of them that have that symbol. So then you're fighting for it. So if we choose to go first, we're going to get to play, like let's say we play an event, then the AI plays an event, and then we play an event, and then the AI plays an event. We're going to get to play all 3 of our events, and they won't because there's only 5 total. So I'm looking at my markers here, or my events, because we didn't even review those. 2 of the 3 are really good. The third one's not bad at all. It's just not super helpful this particular round, but it might help us later in the game. So that's strategy 1, is we go first, and then we guarantee that we're going to get 3 events in. But I'm also plagued with this. I have those special symbols, and those symbols mean, let me grab my pen here. This is the only one that lets me do that one, and this is the only one that lets me do that one. So if the AI were to pick, if I go first, I'm obviously going to guarantee I get one of them. And the AI could pick the other one, which then screws me over, and I won't be able to play all 3 of my events anyways. So there is that possibility. Now I'm looking at them real quick. Like I said, they're both good. So let's talk about strategy 2. Strategy 2 is, you know what, I'm not as hot and bothered over the events, which I confessed I'm all about the events, right? So I always like to go first. But strategy 2 is hey, let's not worry about the events, and I'm going to let the other player go first, and here's why. Because you get the last word. So why do you need to get the last word? Well, this is a big tug-of-war game. And remember, you get a point if you have more flags than they do. Well, how do you make sure that you have more flags than they do? Go last. Because you're the last one who gets to take your actions. So if you're tied in the markets, or if Britain is up by 1, you can make sure that they're down by 1 by the time you finish your last turn. You see what I mean? You can guarantee that you get points for a particular region by going last. So you have to decide if those events are really worth going first for. And I'm going to choose no, they're not worth going first for. And here's why. I have 2 very special events, and I'm worried that England is going to take one of them away from me anyway. Like, maybe they'll play this one or they'll play that one. Even if I go first, they still may choose one of them. And then my point of going first is I won't even get to play all 3 of my events. So, here's the beer for me, right? Now, here's the part where playing against Britain as an AI stinks, is I know what their events are, and I know that Britain doesn't need either of these. Okay, that's the first thing I know, because that's information I'm not supposed to know. But the second thing is, when Britain's selecting their tile, we're going to have a bit of a dilemma. And so I came up with a little system to help with the tile selection. and basically it's based on award points, but we'll give it a try and see if it can be at least a little bit competitive to us. You know, I've played designer solitaire games that are probably going to be less competitive than the AI I just came up with. So maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself. But I like a competitive AI, and I'm not convinced that this one is yet. But you're welcome to use this if you know if you feel suited to. Okay, so I'm going to let Britain go first. Is the point I'm making? So let's put our events to the side, and what I decided to do is I'm going to roll this D100 here, and if I get an even, Britain's going to go for an event. If I get an odd, they're going to go for trying to get like the best tile. And that was one way to do it. But the other way that I'm thinking is they have events available, so they should. It's a tough choice. If you were to ask my son, he doesn't care for events that much, and he goes for the bigger tiles. Let's look at these real quick, because I didn't actually read what they do. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the die roll. So even means they're going to go for an event. Odd means they're going to go for the best tile. So even means they're going to go for an event. So we're going to go for an event marker. Now, which marker are they going to go for? Well, what I tried to say was let's go for award points. Award points are these tiles that you see there. That one. Now, I think every region starts tied. So 2, 4 versus 4. This is 2, 4 versus 1, 2, 3. Oh, 5 versus 5. And here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1, 2, 3, 4. So Britain's actually got less in North America. France, oh no, that doesn't go there. 4 to 4. So everything's tied. So that doesn't help Britain very much. So then what's the next way we're going to decide what they're going to do? Well, they definitely want to do... So I would say, well, let's look at their symbols. But they don't have to pick an economic one because we picked the Bank of England. So the Bank of England lets us play this no matter what. So then I think the next best thing is well, let's just roll. So I'm going to roll a number, and from left to right, we're going to just go through all the tiles that give them a bonus marker, and I'll just pick whichever one. If it worked for David Turchi, it's going to work for me. So 3. So here's the first one. 1, 2, 3. It's almost like he's really trying to screw us over because that's one of the ones we really wanted, right? So this is the tile he's choosing. Now, I promised that I would show you a marker that I don't use in the game, but they tried. They give you these markers. And what you're supposed to do is, like, this is the first time it was used. And so you would put that on to show that the British used that tile. And then, like, it would look like that, right? So the British are claiming that one, and then the other 8 are still available, right? But what Josh and I do, because he's the one I played this game with the most, we just put it up like that, and then we keep playing, and we never use these markers. They're very nice markers. The intent is pure. There's nothing wrong with it. But so let me bring this closer. Okay, so here's the rules with these action tiles. I'm getting a bad glare there. Okay, first rule of Fight Club is you must play the event card first. Okay, that's the first rule. The second rule is you can play the major action or the minor action in any order you choose. And so most of the time it doesn't matter. There are times when it will matter, and when we're controlling the AI, I'm always going to do the minor action first and then the major action second. And I'm going to reserve the right to change my mind when it makes sense. Okay? So let's try to put this somewhere where it's not creating such a glare. Yeah, it's just this camera, so my apologies. All right, well, which one of these do we play? And remember, I didn't read any of them. I mean, should we just roll a die for this? I guess we should. So, 2, 4, 6. I rolled a 5, so it's the Carnatic War, which I'm familiar with some of these. So this is probably the weakest of the 3, but we'll do it. Okay, so this one, the bonus happens if there's mercantilism. So he's going to reveal this card, and boom, it has mercantilism written on it. So he's going to get the bonus. And then now I know he's going after the East India Company. That's a big deal. Okay. So what it lets you do is place a conflict marker in India for each local alliance you control there. He has 0 local alliances. This is a worthless card. Now the bonus is he gets to damage an enemy fort or shift a cotton market in India. Now that one could help him. Now cotton is not one of the global demand. So I'm going to treat this like a coin game, where this one isn't very helpful to them, so we're going to put it back. And we're going to pick a different one. So I'm just going to pick the next one here, Calico Axe. The famine in Ireland, it's not a bad one either. Yeah, let's do that one. So what this one is they get to unflag a French space in Ireland or Scotland. There's no bonus with this one. So we're going to go ahead and play that card. Any event card that's played is out of the game forever. And so they get to unflag this one for free. So France just lost to Ireland, at least for now. Okay, the Calico Axe is actually a pretty good one too. So, all right, now let's do the action itself. So I said we were going to try to do the minor one. Sure. So the minor one is 2 economic points. So this is where we get to this again. So if I'm doing an economic, here's my AI rules. I'm going to do a D100 and a D6. If the D100 is even, we're going to go after global demand. And it is. It's even. And then we're going to go after the second resource. So the second resource is fish. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend 2 economic points to go after fish. So let me show you. The way this works is you have to follow the black line. So I can't go after this fish here for 2 reasons. Number 1, this costs 3, although I can go into debt to get a free point. But I'm going to just take this and put it on George's bank because I have a connection here. Now, one cardinal rule, you can't daisy chain. So in the same turn, I can't also go here. Now, minor actions have some restrictions because this was a minor action. How do I know? It's on the bottom. Minor actions have several restrictions. Number 1, you can't unflag another player. So I can't ever remove a French flag. Number 2, it can only be done on 1 and 1 space. So let's say I had 10 points. If I spent 2 to go there, I can't spend any more to go anywhere else. It's just there and that's it. So that's done, and that helps him go after the fish find. So now he's got an edge on fish, which is good. That's exactly how a player would play. Now, would they have chosen that particular space? Who knows? But this is not irrepresentative of how a real player would play. Going after fish when it's in global demand was a very smart move. Okay, so now next is diplomacy. And this one, again, is tough, but basically, I said that they would go after Europe first, the Jacobite or other wars second, and then conflict markers. So what I mean by this is that they would try to do their diplomacy in Europe first, if they could. Then they're going to try to go after, what place in Europe are they going to go for? The place that's going to help them with their wars is what they're going to do. And then, of course, conflict markers. So that's a really rough strategy, but there's no dice rolling necessary for this one. I mean, what we could do, because there are diplomacy, for example, you can get the Iroquois Indians to side with you. So you could use your your die somehow to do a 2, 4, 6, 8, get an 8-sided die. 2 is in Europe, 4, 6, and then 8. That's very possible. But to be quite honest, Europe is where most of the diplomacy points are going to be spent. So they're going to do that, and they're going to try to help out their wars. And they want to help out the Jacobite wars first. That is their top priority. Now, mind you, the Dutch Republic actually helps out in 2 different wars. So if you were a human player, you would go after the Dutch Republic. So they have 3 points to spend. Okay. And the Dutch Republic space costs 2. So with 3 points to spend, they could go after Scotland and Ireland, and there's some 3-point spots there. Now these are prestige spots. They're not going to help with the war. This side helps with the war. But since they have 3 points, they're going to spend 3, and they're going to go into a prestige spot instead. Now, I am sort of winging this. AI rules as I go, and I know I don't have it all written down. But now, at any point, a player can decide to go into debt. So let's say they go into debt by 2. Now they have 2 extra action points. Okay? With those 2 extra action points, they can now put another flag out on the other side. So what I decided to do with this is we have 6 available debt. And you're going to roll a 6-sided die. And basically, let's say there was only 1 available debt. I would have to roll a 1 in order for him to use it. But since all 6 available debt is there, he's going to spend at least 1 debt point. However, he has to spend 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a die, and if I get 3, 4, 5, or 6, he'll spend the 2 points. I got a 4, so he'll spend the 2 points. And so what he's going to do is get another flag, and he went into debt by 2, so he can put that on Ireland. So now he's got Ireland completely under his control. Okay, I apologize, it's not focusing very well. Now, one other thing, he's going to reveal Bank of England, and it increases his debt limit by 1. And he had to reveal the Bank of England, or otherwise he couldn't have played that other event card. So the debt limit goes up by 1. Now, you might be asking, why? Because that symbol. That symbol doesn't match the diplomacy symbol. So he had to use his Bank of England card to be able to do that. So both of his cards are revealed just on the first turn. Okay, so he's done. I know that was a little long. This can go pretty quick once everybody knows what they're doing. But now it's my turn. And since he used the diplomacy one, I can't do Native American alliances. So I'm going to flip that over for now. And I'm going to do the Great Northern War. So I'm going to grab the only one that lets me do that. And that's this tile right here. Now there's some extra symbols on here. This one, which we'll talk about in a second. But we got to do the event first. So first of all, it's a style. So I'm going to reveal my style guy. The award for Europe is worth 1 extra BP for me. So what does that mean? The award tile. That guy with 2 points there is now worth 3 if I win it. I'm not doing a good job because the AI just took 2 spots in Europe, but that's the idea. Okay, so what does it do for us? Well, we read the French part. We shift Russia. If it's already French flagged, we score 2 victory points instead. Unfortunately, it's not already French flagged. And then we actually get 1 bonus diplomacy point, which does not have to be used here. And we'll talk about that in a second, because this is considered a major point, whereas these are minor points. And we'll talk about that. So I can use this and add it to there if I want, or I can use this separate. Okay, that's a little nuance in the rules. They don't, it does explain it, but it's, it's not intuitive. But this bonus point is like, imagine that there was a 3rd action available. That's what that bonus point does for me. I can choose to merge it in if I want, or I can spend it separate. Okay, so let's shift Russia. What does shift mean? Shift means that if a flag's already there, I remove it. Or if there's no flag there, I add one on. And Russia, there's no flag. So I'm going to add this like so. And it's an alliance flag that also has a green border. So it's a prestige and an alliance. That's a pretty rare one. Okay. All right, so then I get this extra diplomacy point. I also get 2 diplomacy points from this. So what do I want to do with that? Well, first of all, I can tell you that the 2 diplomacy points I'm going to use. This is one of my favorite strategies, is to go there. I can go into, if I really want to win the Spanish War, I got to go into Sardinia and Savoy, but it's such a trap sometimes to go down there. Okay, there's two real big strategies to do in the beginning of the game. Sardinia and Savoy both helped me with the first war, and the area that they really helped me with is the Spain portion of the war. And it's a big help. The other strategy is by going into Prussia and then also in Denmark-Norway. Denmark-Norway actually helps me in this first war. Prussia does not. But if I own both of those, I get this tile. That reduces my debt by 2 every single turn. Not action round, but turn. That is a huge, like, if you want to talk about the most fought over tile, it's that one. There's no other tile on the board that even comes close to what that one does. There's a few good ones, like this one, that you unflag for 1 point. There's some other ones that are nice, but the debt one is a big one. So if you get both of the spots, you can reduce your debt by 2. Now, why is that important? Well, then, if you can reduce your debt by 2, that means you got extra action points. So I'm going to do that because I like the action points. And so this next one, remember I get the bonus of 1? Well, I have to go into debt to turn it into a 2. Okay, so because a 1 is useless to me. There's no spot on the board that's only 1 diplomacy point. So I'm going to turn it into 2, and I'm going to flag this, which lets me take this. Now, I cannot use this round. It has to sit here. I have to use it the next turn. So one of the things you can do is you can like grab it and exhaust it because you're not allowed to use it. The problem with doing this is, let's say the other player takes one of those spaces. Well, this goes back out on the board with the exhaust marker. So the other player doesn't get to use that tile. However, it's really not exhausted. It's just I'm not allowed to use it yet. So another thing you can do is just set it off your board to show that you can't use it. But I'll remember. So I did that. Now, I happened to like, well, never mind. So this is considered a major. So if I wanted to, I can keep going in and get more diplomacy points. And I can put a flag in as many spaces as I want until I've spent all my diplomacy points. It is very much a viable option. Okay, so before I do the major action, let's talk about this little swirly symbol. What that does is that lets you replace a basic war tile. So first thing you have to do is you have to pick a player. So I would say, I'm going to try to replace this one. Now remember, the other player doesn't know what it is. You're just pointing to it and saying, this is the one I'm considering replacing. Then you randomly select a basic war tile. So I'll just randomly select this one. I reveal it. And then I decide, okay, do I like this one more than the other? The ability to remove a flag is actually helpful if you have 2 flags there, in Ireland. But I still don't like it, so I am going to replace it. So I will say, okay, I'm going to replace this with this one. Okay, that one will make him increase his debt by 1. The thing is, I don't like either of them, to be honest with you. And then I have another choice. I can choose to shuffle this back in, or I could say, I want to remove this from the game. So you don't have to reveal it to the other player. It's completely knowledge only you have. So I'm going to say, I'm going to remove this from the game, and so then you just set it out of the game. And it's never shuffled back in for the rest of the game. So I just make sure that that -1 never comes out. I just don't like the -1s. They're really hard to overcome. Okay, so now let's do the 2 military points. This is really weak, by the way. The 2 military points. It's a very weak number of military points. But I have a lot of choices here, folks, with the military points. So first thing, I'm going to use this. I can grab a bonus war tile. That's just, you go in, you shuffle, you grab one, you get to look at it, and then you pick any of these wars to put it in. There's a couple of rules. First of all, this is my first action round. I can never pick more than 2 bonus war tiles in each action round. So I can pick 2 in the first one, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, but never any more. And then the second thing is I can never put more than 2 in any of those places. So let's say I drew these 2 war tiles this particular action round, and I put both of them here. That's totally legal. Then the next action round I get 2 more. I can, if I want, put this one here, but then I have to swap out one of the other ones. It does let you do that. It's very flexible. So if you decide that these new ones were better and you wanted it there and you've already used your 2 max, you're allowed to swap it out, and then you can it's totally flexible. The one thing you can't do is you can't just swap because you want to. You have to have like an extra one, and that extra one goes there, and now you can pick one to swap. And you can even do that if you really wanted to. But that's how the bonus war tiles work. Okay, next one. Construct a squadron. That's as simple as you spend 4 points, you get a new ship, and it goes into the Navy box. Okay. Next one, deploy a squadron. It costs 1, 2, or 3. Okay. When the space is empty, it's always 1. So if I want to deploy a squadron, I can take this particular squadron and put it, for example, anywhere that I see an anchor. So here or here. Okay. You don't need to have lines connected to your territories. Ships can go anywhere. All right? Now, what does that do for me? Well, first of all, it gives me a strength point anywhere that squadron is written on the board. So right there you see squadrons. That helps with Queen Anne's War. So if I have a squadron in North America, that's going to help with Queen Anne's War. Okay? That's one of the things. The other thing that it does is every market that's around it is protected. So let's say this was a French market. It would cost him 3 instead of 2 to remove my flag because it's protected. But as of right now, he's got those markets, not me. So having my fleet there doesn't reduce the cost for me, but it does make it harder for him to remove my flags later. So the squadrons protect, and the forts do the same thing, by the way. They protect as well. Now your markets, just while we're on that subject, they have to always be able to trace a line back to a territory, a fort, or a squadron. If this market were to disappear, this would become what's called an isolated market. It no longer has a line that goes back to a source. And so an isolated market only costs 1 point to remove. I mean, it still exists for the British. It still counts for the British, but it's real easy for me to take over if it's isolated. Okay? If a conflict marker were to come here, we haven't talked about conflict markers much, that causes this to be isolated as well. So if you have a ship here, that prevents the isolation because now they have a direct line to one of your ships. I'm hoping that helps you to understand some of the strategy of why you want a ship there or somewhere. Okay. That is deploy a squadron. Now it says 2 or 3. So here's the next part. Let's say the British have a ship there, and the French's ship. What did I do with the French ship? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I put it back out of the game. And the French have one here. So for 2 points, I can displace. 1 to place my new ship there, and 1 to displace theirs. And it goes back to the Navy box. Okay? The other one is, if I'm coming from here, it's 1 to go in the region, 1 to place, 1 to displace, so that would cost 3. Okay? So that's the only time that would cost 3 is if you're trying to displace. Now, let's say I had 2 of these. Because I have 2 points, it's going to cost me 1 point to deploy a ship. So let's say I spend 1 point to go there, and I want to spend my other point to go here in Europe. That's totally allowed. Remember, the errata is, even though this is shaded green, that's available at the start of the game. Okay, there's a problem. That's a special rule in the game. Your major action points can be spent over multiple spaces and in multiple regions. That's not a problem. The biggest problem is that I went into 2 regions, so I have to pay a penalty. So the first one only cost me 1 point, but this one will cost me 2 points because it's a different region. If I wanted to deploy both of my ships in North America, that would only cost me 1 point each. Because I never left the first. And what region is it based out of? The first action. So if my first action's here, this one is also free, or costs 1. If I did my first action here, then coming here would cost 2. And it doesn't matter where. I mean, coming down here also costs 2. Okay? All right, let me set it back up. Next, construct a fort. So this fort costs 4. I pay the 4 points, I get to put a fort. Forts are just like the ships. They protect the markets. And they also allow you to trace lines back to the markets. The difference is as I explained, we can displace a ship. You just have to spend the extra points. So England, I can put a ship down and England can kick my ship right out the very next turn. Forts, on the other hand, can only be taken through wars. And like I said, during the peacetime, but only if they're damaged, which can only happen during war. So forts are more permanent, and I heavily recommend that you, in the early game, consider getting some forts. You can repair a fort. Remember I said you could damage them? Well, this is where you're either repairing them or seizing them. This is when that happens. Or removing conflict markers. It costs 2 points to remove a conflict marker, or 1 if it's in a protected area, which is next to a fort. This obviously is not an option for me because there's no conflict markers out there right now. Okay, so I have 2 points. This is a perfect opportunity to get bonus war tiles. It would have been a great opportunity to deploy 2 ships, but I don't have 2 ships to deploy. It's also a perfect opportunity to snag a fort. And I think that may have to be the better option for me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into debt one more time. I need an extra action point. And so the fort I'm going to build right here is Louisburg. Now, why does it have to be that one? Because I have a solid line to my territory, so I can claim this fort. I cannot claim Halifax until I have a market here first. I need to be able to trace. So I can't do Halifax. Now, why am I going in North America? Well, 2 of the 3 trade routes is in North America, so I want to start protecting my markets. And then also it helps me to win the award that's in North America. And it also helps me in Queen Anne's War where forts count as defense points. So there's 3 reasons for all that. So anyways, that's my turn. Now I can choose to go into debt even more and get another fort if I want. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go into debt one more time and go to 3. And I'm actually going to deploy my navy. And the Gulf of Maine would be nice. This is also nice because it helps you with Europe, but I am going to go into the, oh, there's so many places, folks. The Cabot Strait is really nice to help with North America. These two are always nice for Europe. This one is a fantastic spot for India, especially if you're trying to protect cotton. The problem is you would have to go here if you want to do spice, right? And then in here, of course, you can protect some sugar markets and things like that. So India is less important because there's no wars going on here. These guys help with war. Okay, not quite as important. Same logic here, although the sugar trade is, no, sugar's not one of the three. North America, there's definitely a war going on, and then in Europe, there's also a war going on. So this can help in both places. If you go here, it gives you a green border for prestige, which is also nice. But you know what? I think I have to go here. I mean, I could go here. I mean, this is going to help protect my markets a little. Well, I got a fort here. Never mind. I'm going to go there. A British player, a human British player, will kick that out. So that's a very important place. So that's one of the reasons why maybe you don't want to go there, is because you run the risk that it's just going to get kicked out. But that's part of the game. And by you putting it there, you then force the other player to waste points to remove it. So, anyways. That was one turn, 37 minutes. One action round, I mean. So now we go to action round 2. Let's see if they're going to play an event. I got an odd number. Okay, apologies. They're all even numbers. Even a 70 is an even number. I meant that the first digit. So this really could have just been a 10-sided die. But anyways, the 7 is what I'm looking at. That's odd. So it means he's not going to play an event. So now we're going to roll the die. Let's see, there's 9 of them. And we're going to skip the event ones. So he rolled a 3. So if you look out here, there's 1, 2, 3. So he'll take this one. And let's get this one out of the way. And discard this card. All right, so he's not playing an event. He's doing this, and I think we said we were going to do the minor actions first. So military, I put him down as always going after bonus war tiles. He's going to place ships if major. Because if it's a major military point, then he can place his ships. Britain is all about ships, in case you haven't caught up on your history. So they're more interested in the ships than we are, and they have more ability to get them out on the board. But so we're going to go ahead and just grab a bonus war tile for them. The other thing to do is take fort, which I'm contemplating that on the very first peace turn, that's actually a higher priority than placing bonus war tiles. So in fact, I'm going to write that in. So I'm going to put a little up arrow on peace turn 1. So on peace turn 1, you want to take forts. I mean, that's what I just did, right? So the problem is in order for him to take a fort, he has to be willing to go into debt. So let's see if he's willing to do that. He's willing to go up to 2 debt in. So I got to get that straightened out, like the logic there. So let's look at this. What area does he want to build a fort? That's the next question. And usually it's based on your global demand. You want to protect your markets. I've been aggressive in North America. So the area you choose is the area where you're losing in the awards. So there you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 British markers in North America. I have 1, 2, 3 French in the back, 4, 5 over here because I built the fort, but that ship counts as 6, so I'm winning that battle. So he's going to try to build a fort in North America. I don't even know if he can. Yes, he can. He can go from here to Halifax, or nope, he can't do Ohio. So Halifax is his only option. It costs 3. So he has to go into debt by 1 to do that. And so he will. And now he just built his own fort in Halifax. Okay, does that make sense? All right. So now he's going to do his major economics. So again, even number means he's going to go after the global markets. That was an odd. So now he's just going to do the 4th resource down. So the 4th resource down is tobacco. So he's going to try to expand his tobacco control, even though it's not a resource he needs right now. So 2 points to go there is easy for him. And this is the daisy chain rule. I can't spend 2 more to go here because this just got created this turn. So that's not allowed. He actually can't go for any more tobacco. No more left to go. So now we're going to go ahead and spend the rest of his on a global demand. So yeah, I'm just double checking. Yeah, he couldn't. So he's going after the first resource, which is fur. So there's a lot of choices here, and the most logical one is to go into Cumberland. He increased his fur holdings there. So right now. All right, so it's back to me. I could try to do this event, which helps me in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is not really a source of battle right now, but I do have the scholarship bonus. So let's just see if there's a tile here that's not too bad to take. You can see that economic is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those tiles are economic tiles that are major. Only 1 left is diplomacy. So I'm going to take the diplomacy because it's important. Look, there's so many economic tiles left. I'm just going to bank on the fact that there's going to be one available for me next round. I'm going to take the one that's just more rare. And then, of course, I get an economic minor anyways. The other thing to bear in mind is that there's only 2 more opportunities for military points. So that's also getting rare. But I'm going to stick with this for now. Okay, so what do I want to do market-wise? So let's look at our situation. Spice-wise, we're losing. He has 1. I have 0. I can go here to tie him. Fish-wise, he has 2. I have 0. He's winning that. Furs, I have 1 fur. He has 2. I am losing all 3 global markets. So I need to do something. I can remove his flags. No, it's a minor. So it's a minor action. I cannot remove his flags. I can only place my own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to at least tie him for the spice. So right now he's not winning that. Okay, next is the 4 diplomacy points, and this is where I'm really getting an edge on him. Although losing all 3 of the markets is not helping me. I'm going to take Sardinia and Savoy. A couple of things happen. This I can't take yet until I have both points. And same here. Oh, I don't get any of those. Ooh. All right. Well, fair enough. I'm going to use this to reduce my debt by 2. So my debt goes down by 2. So now I have an opportunity to spend more diplomacy points if I want, or I can use it to do economic points later. This is a good question. How do I want to do this? I'm currently 1 in debt. I can just blow a huge amount of points, but I'm only going to do 2, which is actually a huge amount for me. And I'm going to take the coveted Dutch Republic to help me out with 2 of those wars. Okay, now one of the things I could do is I could have taken, like, for example, the Iroquois. That's actually an attractive option. But I already have one here. So this lets me place a conflict marker on a fur market. This I got from the Conquin raids. So I'm going to exhaust that. Now, what's the rule for these tiles? You can exhaust 2 tiles per action round, almost like the bonus war tiles. You can do no more than 2. And they have to be from 2 different regions. You can never do 2 tiles from the same region. That's sort of why you see me separating them like this. This is North America. I have like this little system. But we can put it up there for now. But that's North America. This is Europe. So I exhausted both of these in the same action round. That's totally legal. So let's get a conflict marker out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a conflict marker here. And what that does is that fur market no longer counts. When we're counting fur, I now am tied with him in fur again. And then on top of it, this flag doesn't count when we're counting total number of flags for the award. So it does double bonus. All right, so let's go to his turn. Is he going to do an event? The answer is yes. So he's going to grab an event. And he's going to grab the 3rd one. So let's look here. 1, 2, he's grabbing this one. Why would he grab that one when this one is completely, well, no, this one can be better. Yeah, we'll grab it. All right, so the reason why this one can be better is because it has a little swap thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a bonus. Remember, we're not looking at his. So for the AI rules, solitaire rules, we're going to put it in the middle. And actually, we got to roll. Let's roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. I rolled a 3. So it's going to potentially replace this. Okay. So where am I going to put this? I'm going to put it right down there. And what this indicates is that he's going to reveal both of these during the battle, but only one of them is going to count, and it's going to be whichever one's better for him. Okay? That's going to be the rule. We just don't know, because I don't want to peek at it to figure it out now, because then I'll know how that war is going to turn out. And for your own solitaire game, you shouldn't do that either. Okay? All right. So we've been trying to do the minor ones first, so we're going to do the 2 diplomacy. But remember, his priorities are award points. So, how's Europe looking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 French flags versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 English. So he's losing horribly there. So he's going to spend 2 points. And now the where part is hard. From an AI perspective, solitaire perspective. But remember, the priority was the Jacobite Rebellion, and that means he's going into Scotland. So he's going to try to secure the Jacobite Rebellion by having all those locations covered. And thematically and historically, it actually makes a lot of sense. It's a good move for him. Okay, now we got this. So remember, even means he's going to go after the global markets. Odd means he's going to go after a new one. Even is global markets, and he's going to go after the second one, which is fish. So he's going to go into debt because it's the only way he can go after fish. And he's going to take the Northeast Channel. So he's locking up the fish market. He's making it almost impossible for me to fish away from him. From a human perspective, that's not a bad, this whole turn was not bad for him at all. Okay, so it's our turn. We still have a chance to take an event. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to choose this one, not because I need the military, not because of this. Just so you know, that one only gives me 2 action points. This one gives me 3, which would have been better action point wise. But I want the military point. And yeah, so okay. Which one are we gonna try to swap out? I don't like these debt tiles, so the problem is the Jacobite Rebellion. I'm not feeling like I'm winning at all. I mean, I'm gonna get 2 points towards the Jacobite Rebellion, so I'm gonna try to swap out the Spain. So let's randomly pick. Oh, let's grab this guy. Oh, it's the one I don't care for. The Spain one. Ooh, that would not help me at all. So I'm going to choose to discard this one. So I'm not going to swap that. And then the one that's left, I'm going to choose to eliminate from the game. So it's out. All right. So what I'm going to do with my 2 military points. I am going to draw a bonus war tile, I'm pretty sure. I can't afford a new ship. That costs 4. There's no fort on the board that only costs 2 military. Well, there is. One fort, but I don't have access to it. There. You got to expand quite a bit. Well, actually, I could. Oh, nope, that would be daisy chaining. I'm not allowed to daisy chain. So Arcot would be an issue. I could take this Vandervast fort in India, which would really lock up some things. The problem is there's no war in India this turn. The wars are elsewhere. The bonus tiles are nice. So as much as I'm trying to talk myself out of a bonus tile, they really are nice. There's the only other place I can get a fort is in the Indies, and I don't need that at the moment either. So I think I'm going to get a bonus war tile. Yes, so let's do it. So I'm going to put these bonus war tiles. I know I've been randomly selecting the other ones from the map, but these ones I'm going to put in here so we can draw them proper like. All right, and I just need 1. So I got a +2, Murray. And remember, that's for the Australian Succession War, right? WAS? Australian. Austrian. It's late at night. So I get to add +2 to something. Now, you could take several strategies. You can say, okay, I'm going to add +2 to the Jacobite Rebellion because he's winning. But all that's going to do is make it a wash. I really want to walk away where I win something. And so I'm going to choose Central Europe because I want to win it big. I want to get 5 or more margin of victory. And I feel like I'm doing really well there. Now, the Queen Anne's War is another one that I like because I do have a conflict market. I put a conflict on his fur. I have a fort there, and I even have a squadron there. So I have 3 bonus points. So I really do like my chances. Oh, I actually may want to change my mind. The thing is this gives me special territories, and some of them are in North America. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to leave that there. All right. So then what do I do with this one? I got the 2 economic points still. Now remember, I can go into debt and increase that if I want, and I also get to play an event. That's the first thing you're supposed to do, folks, before you do everything else. I do get the bonus because I have scholarship, And oh crap, I forgot to use my other bonus. Once per turn at the start of your action round in which your investment tile has any diplomatic action, that action confers an extra point for each of the following you control, and I have Savoy, Sardinia, and a prestige base in Austria, so I'd have 3. Now this is where it would have paid to put those markers down. He took this one, and this one. I took this one, and that one. And then he took that one for his third action. So I did get diplomacy points here, and that's when I would have used it. Now, I used those diplomacy points to take Savoy and Sardinia, so at the time I only had Austria. Now, there's 2 diplomacy ones out there still for a minor action, so I'm going to use it then, and then I'll get the extra points. But remember, with a minor action, you can only go to 1 space. So, you know what, I'll just use it. Nope, that would have only given me +1. Yeah, I'll just wait. Just wait. It was my mistake for not remembering. Okay, remove an enemy flag, then 1 friendly flag from markets in the Caribbean. So this hurts because I got to remove 1 flag from both of us. But then I get to remove an additional enemy flag as my bonus because of the disease. Do I really want to play that? Because then I have to remove my own flag. And it has to be from markets. So I would be losing a sugar. You know what? I don't like this event card. I'm not going to play that. And in fact, I'm not even going to play that tile. I did not do this little swirly thing. Or did I? I did. So I'm going to bring back the swirly thing. So this is going to get shuffled back in to my stuff. I'm sorry, I'm retconning. I didn't catch the fact that I have to lose a flag too. I don't like that. All right, I'm going to put this back. I don't need to play an event. So instead of that, although the military action is still, no, I'm leaving it there. I'm taking this one. So the military action stays intact. I just get 4 economy points instead of 2. Which I desperately need because I'm losing. So I think I'm going to accept defeat for fish. However, I have 4 points. So I can spend 2 here to go up 1 on the fur. This one I would have to go in debt for because that costs 3. It is an option. And it's not daisy chaining because I still have a connection this way. It would be daisy chaining if I had to go, through the connection like that. I could take a fish, but it doesn't help having 1 fish. It's just whoever has more, and he has 3. I can remove one of his fish because I have the ships there. So that ship can help me remove one of his fish. It still doesn't help me too much. So the other reason I want to continue putting flags there is because he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're tied. But I would like to get the spice market. So there's a 3 spice over here, which is a nice one for me to grab that he can't go after. Or I can go after some of these spice over there, but either way, they're both cost 3. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. It does cause me to go into debt by 1. And I wish I could put more there. I can go into debt even more and get more, but I'm not going to. So that's the end of my turn. So now he's up. Is he going to play his event? And the answer is no. And then he's going to take the 6th tile So, well, two of the tiles use events. So he's going to just grab that one because that's the only tile that doesn't have an event marker. And so he gets 2 diplomacy and 4 economics. So let's do the diplomacy first. So he wants to do Europe. He wants to help the Jacobite or other wars. Let's see if he's willing to go into debt. He has 4 debt. He's not willing to go into debt. So he has 2 diplomacy points. What other wars can he help himself in? That would only... It's real easy. You just look for the 1 pip. Like, for example, Germany here. In fact, Germany is the one. So he can easily grab that for 2. So that's done. Now the 4 market. I rolled an even, so he's going to go after the demand, and he's going to go after spices. Boy, this is almost like a real human player. Okay, so now here's the interesting one. He can choose to remove ours or place his. And in fact, that's exactly what he's going to do. He has 4 points, so he's just going to do that. Flip it over. And if you want to, you can roll a die. But if you look at his options, he had nowhere to expand his spice market. Like he could go into cotton, but the spice was cut off. So this was his only choice to remove my flag, which cost 2, and then he put his flag on, which cost 2. Okay, so now it's to us. We could play something that lets him... So here's our choices. I can take 3 economic points, and then I have 2 diplomacy points, or 2 economic points and give me 2 military points. Both cases I get to play an event. I'm going to take the one that gives me more... Oh, something's not right. Oh, I'm the last player. That's right. He doesn't get to go again. He's done. He probably should have played this event. See, this one gives him 2 economic points. Must be used to unflag markets, and then he gets the bonus. You may score cotton as if in global demand. I was winning cotton, so that would not have helped him. I totally forgot he went first. Well, the 2 extra economic points. Yeah, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Playing their event cards is hard. And I'm almost to the point of recommending that if you play solitaire, you just don't do event cards, or you do it, but anyways. It's almost like, okay, if he's going to draw an event card, you just draw from the event deck until you get something that either matches this symbol or like the first event card that actually is playable. Then he just plays it. In fact, I'm thinking we're going to do that from now on. So instead of him having 3 fixed event cards, it's going to be more. But see, that's where the bonus is. I'm not going to speak over it. We get the final say. So right now, we have the fur market locked down. He has 2 flags on fur, but one's in conflict. I have 2 flags on fur and none in conflict, so I'm going to win that war. He's winning the fish war, so I can't do anything there. The spice war, he's winning, because I have 1 spice and he has 2. So if I want to take that spice away from him, I can easily spend 2 to do that. That's not a problem. But I have to go in debt by 1 to win the spice war. And since I go last, I get the final say. So this is what I mean, the power of going last. He did a brilliant move, taking that spice away from me. But since I get the final say, I just get to take it right back. Okay, then the diplomacy points. This is an interesting one. I'm very close to being at my debt limit. I don't want to be at the debt limit because he has just as many of those debt marker, those war tiles that make me take a debt as I do. Now, do I want to play my event? I do get to remove 2 flags from him, but I have to remove one of my own. Figure out what that would look like. Well, the only flag I can remove is this one here, which costs 3. That would be not smart. This one only costs 2. So I could do that. And then I would remove 2 of his flags. So here's the other thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's winning, so he would get the 1 victory point. So by removing my 1 flag, I get to remove 2 of his flags. And so now I'm going to get that victory point. You see how that switched? So even though it hurt me to lose this sugar, I hurt him too. So that event card did not hurt me at all. In fact, it was very helpful. So I play the card. I already did the economy one, so now it's the diplomacy. Now this is interesting because we've been like mucking around in Europe the whole game, which there's a lot of value to. And one of the places in Europe I'm really eyeing up is I would like to take Sweden. However, I'm looking at this situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flags to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can do diplomacy in the Iroquois, which then gives me the 8th flag, so now I'm going to win that award as well, and I get another conflict for fur markets that I can use. The other thing I could do is diplomacy in India, and I can take like textiles. Now, one thing I did very poorly for the British, actually I do get textiles, so I do have that one from India. India company gets points for having those special tiles. I really should have paid attention to that, because in India, that's where 2 of them exist. So I probably could have played the AI a little smarter. I was using a die roll to determine where they went and not paying attention to their minister. This is where a human player might be at a little bit of an edge. But the die rolls, I don't think ever force him to make poor decisions unless you want to count that time he went after the bank. But that was still a smart decision, because tobacco might come up the next round and then he's already 1 leg up. So you're not always just trying to play for this current round. Okay, so I almost forgot. Gave me 3 extra diplomacy points. So did I really want to take... Yeah, I'm going to use it. I know I'm not going to win the North American. That's actually a smart move, but I'm going to use this, which gave me the 3 extra points, to take this, which gives me this, which allows me to unflag Spain and Austria really cheap. It only cost me 1. And that's actually going to help me with the war there. I do give up that victory point and the trade point, which is a big deal. Kept forgetting to use my minister. I should have used him earlier, which would have given me more points. But okay, so I'm done. Now, what happens is that this last unused tile goes into the used pool, and we just pile them up like so. And these never go back into the cup until all of the tiles have been used. So you're going to constantly draw from the cup until they're all gone, and only when they're all gone do you shuffle those back. Just basic rule there. I'm going to go ahead and end. We're at an hour and 9, and then start up the next video. It is getting really late, so I'm not going to probably be able to play too much longer. But I at least want to get through the first peace turn, and then maybe even through the first war. And I don't know if I have the gumption to play the entire game, but hopefully you're enjoying this and getting a good feel for the game. There are a couple other videos on this game that I think are pretty good. One guy was very much just only describing the rules and that's it. And then I think that same guy tried to do a playthrough with another player, but they had a lot of errors. Anyways, I usually don't like to do videos if other people already have it covered, but this is a wonderful game, and I would just love to cover it. So I hope I did it some justice. I know I'm always long-winded in some cases, but anyways, thanks for watching. Stay awesome and stay safe.